Hello, my name is Corey Huntsberger. I've got my father, Alan Huntsberger, in the studio. We're going to start off with our foundational verse like we always do, or else what's the point? What's the point of doing this show if you don't have some kind of foundation to ground you in this crazy world we live in? And it's Psalm 24, 1 and 2, the earth and everything in it, the world and its inhabitants belong to the Lord. See, breathe in, breathe out. For he laid its foundation on the seas and established it on the rivers. Psalm 24, 1 and 2. This verse gives me comfort because we are just seeing people triggered and things going off and just the crazy, crazy, crazy. But that's just kind of like, Alan, I look at the view behind you and the mountains and the earth and everything in it belongs to the Lord. That makes me happy. I don't know. I don't know whether you're religious or not. That verse should make you happy.
I know. You know, I've been thinking about this more and more and trying to help, broaden our perspective of what it means, the earth and everything in it and all that. And since all things do belong to him, that means his commandments are not a burden. Keep the Lord's command and statutes, Deuteronomy says, and that I'm giving you today because it's for your good. And Jesus said, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. John says God's commandments are never given to weigh us down. They protect us, they guide us, they bring us life. And obedience is not about rules, it's about love. So today, remember, every command from God flows from his love and is for your good. Obey him is to love him. There you go.
There you go. I'm excited about our guest. It's been a while since we've had him on, but he is my favorite. Well, one of my faves. We've got Brett Oland. He is the CEO of Bow Valley Credit Union. Brett, welcome back to the show, man.
Well, thanks for having me. Really appreciate the constant visits I have with you two fine gentlemen. So,
well, we can't help it because you do banking
sincere?
in a different.
Sorry, go ahead.
You do banking in a different way. You really do. I mean, you back everything 100% with gold, and you actually have a metals account that people can go in there and they can buy gold, they can sell gold. You'll store the gold or they can have it themselves. And now when you go on the Bow Valley Credit Union website, what do you find? Bitcoin.
Wow.
You now have got an account that people can have their own bank account where they can change their fiat money into Bitcoin. And that is so excited because I've been a study of Bitcoin for the last 3-4 years. And when it first started, I mean, banks would block you if you were going to buy Bitcoin. Like you couldn't use your debit card, you couldn't even use some banking credit cards. It was difficult to buy Bitcoin. And here you are, Bow Valley Credit Union, making it simpler for the average Joe like me to buy Bitcoin. I love it, man. And can you explain that to us and maybe get into kind of how that works?
Sure. Yeah. No. And we recognize that, Alan. It is. I consider myself fairly technology savvy, but getting into Bitcoin, as you know, it went completely over my head in some regards. So we wanted to really create a really simple method that people, like you say, average Joes and Janes can get access to Bitcoin without needing to understand all the technology in behind it. So you're exactly right. So you have your fiat currency account, so your typical banking, checking or savings account. And then you have, we've had it up and running for a while, your e-metals account, so you can buy physical gold and silver, fractional gold and silver. And so now we've done the same thing with Bitcoin. And we call it the Bitcoin Gateway because we want it to really start people's journey around understanding and getting into the asset class of Bitcoin because it's a very sort of exciting world that seems to be happening around us especially with, you may have heard the Genius Act coming out of the Trump administration in the United States, really leans into cryptocurrencies and their assets. And at the focus of those cryptocurrencies is Bitcoin. And I can describe just a little bit about what this product does for people if
Yeah,
you're okay
please
with that.
do.
Yeah,
Sure.
except before you do, if I could just say one thing, Bitcoin is different than digital currency, right?
Correct. Yeah. It's considered the king daddy of cryptocurrencies, and it uses a blockchain technology, but it's much different than other cryptocurrencies just because you can't manipulate it. So
Right.
with other cryptocurrency tokens, such as Ripple or Ether or Solana or some of these other, there's thousands of cryptocurrencies out there, and most of them are really not intended to do anything other than to make you poor and make somebody else rich. But with Bitcoin, nobody's behind the curtains pulling the strings. You can't manipulate it like you would with some of these other cryptocurrencies. And so its really basis is math, and there's calculations happening in the background, and each Bitcoin that's mined, and it has very similar terms to gold and silver. So you mine Bitcoins, and it takes energy to be able to do that. And so each coin is successfully more difficult to mine than the previous coin. So you have to solve these calculations. And so you can't manipulate it like you would be able to do with fiat currency or other cryptocurrencies.
Right. Okay, so go on, go ahead and explain what you were going to before I ask for that explanation, because I think people need to understand we're not talking about what central banks want or what the government wants. Government can't really touch this, right?
Correct. So the governments around the world have no control over it, neither do central banks. So central banks can't print Bitcoin, governments can't print Bitcoin. So they can only get it the same way you and I can get at it is by either buying it or mining it. So actually it's considered one of the most hard monies in the world. So it definitely has its pros and cons compared to gold and silver. It's not physical like gold and silver are. It's definitely in the cyber universe there, but it's also considered much less manipulated than gold or silver because gold and silver have future contracts and derivatives attached to it, so they can actually manipulate the price to some degree, where it's much, much more difficult to manipulate the price of something like Bitcoin. But I can get into sort of how this exactly works. So there's effectively four parties involved with your Bitcoin gateway account. There's yourself as an individual, and then there's us as Bow Valley Credit Union that act as an agent. Then there's our partners, Balance, who hold the Bitcoin for you. So this is the really unique technology. You don't have to worry about all the technology in the background. You don't have to worry about hackers. You don't have to worry about people stealing your Bitcoin. You don't have to worry about remembering seed phrases. It's all taken care of for you. It's insured, it's secure, and they do that all in the background for you after a few clicks of a button. And we've partnered with them just because of that, is that they're custodians only. So the only thing they do as a company is secure your Bitcoin. And so we've engaged with another partner, Bull Bitcoin, who actually are brokers of Bitcoin. So they buy and sell the Bitcoin. So the four parties, you as an individual, Bow Valley Credit Union has your fiat currency account, your checking or savings account, Balance that holds the Bitcoin for you securely and safely, and Bull Bitcoin, who buy and sell it on your behalf. And you can move it back and forth between fiat currency in your Bow Valley Credit Union account seamlessly, easily. And so you don't have to worry about those on and off ramps that you were talking about earlier, Alan, that financial institutions don't know how to handle this. They don't like it. You'd almost in some cases get debanked if you try to invest in it. So we've tried to create this really seamless method with a very little technology understanding. You can actually own Bitcoin on your own, and there's no rehypothecation or leveraging of your Bitcoin like there would be with physical gold, silver, fiat currency, that type of thing, where they're in the background basically printing more and more of it. So
My Bitcoin has the last 3 years has gone up 3 times. I mean, times three, which you're not going to get fiat or anything else going up that much.
yeah, yeah, and I think it's important to size it as well. I still consider it a bit of a speculative asset, so you have to be prepared for it to go down or lose some of it. But at the end of the day, it seems to be doing the job much better at keeping your savings, that store of value, than something like fiat currency, where it's constantly being debased by the governments and the central banks. So,
Brett, we get new people hopping on board while finding us for the very first time. We get letters all the time. I just found out about your show. So excited, didn't know you existed. This could be the first time people are hearing about Bow Valley Credit Union. And I just wanted just to give them, because I'm sure if they just tuned in now and you're talking Bitcoin and gold, it's like, I don't think there's a class of people out there that are just new, that this is new to them. They don't understand how exciting this is and how different you are. So can you just explain a little bit about your beginning? Because Alan and I found you, Alan, like a few years ago, and we were so excited because it was in the time where the trucker convoy was going on. Banks were freezing accounts. People in the bank were being forced, that work there, to take the vaccine or lose your job. You guys are different. You're made from a different cloth, which is, whether you like it or not, you're like Alan and I. We're a little out there, but that's what we love about you. And for people to know that you are the CEO of the bank, like you're the man in charge, and you're talking like you're for the people, where other banks are making it so difficult to just do regular things like take money out, and you want to take, $5,000 cash out. They treat you like a criminal of taking out your own money, because what are you going to spend it on? What are you using this for? Can you give a little bit of people just a little bit of history about Bow Valley, who you guys are and why you're so different and what you believe?
sure, and thanks for that. We've been around for over 70 years, so 70 years, based in Alberta, and unfortunately we are regulated only in Alberta, so we can only help Alberta residents and Alberta businesses at this time, although we're working on being able to help other provinces. We've really taken to heart, in the past number of years, especially, our value set, which are really important to us. And of course, looking right at something like the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, we take that very seriously. And so when anything infringes on something like that Charter of Rights and Freedoms, like we saw over the past number of years, that is basically given down right from the good book, is that Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and that's where it was developed from. So it's just very surprising to me that other financial institutions haven't taken this path down this road, although they get sucked into whatever they get sucked into with what they're doing. I don't know, but we have about 8 branches here in Alberta, and we're trying to serve Albertans as best we can. And we're a credit union, so we have a much different mandate than the bigger banks. So the bigger banks are there to make profit for their shareholders, where we are a membership-driven organization and serve our membership. And so you can become a member, you can come on the board of directors, you can dictate policy and procedure, and it's really driven towards what is best for the member versus what is just best for the shareholder, which is a much different value proposition, as you know. So that's a little bit about us, and Of course, we've seen massive expansion in the last 4 or 5 years just because we've taken this stand and really ignored a lot of the wishy-washy stuff that's happening in the background.
Yeah, and I think the big one is, and I don't want you to get yourself into a tight corner here, but when the mandate came down, the Freedom Convoy and the Emergencies Act, and freeze these accounts to the grandma that gave $10 to the trucker that had to sleep in the cold, inside his cab of his truck. You guys approach that a little different than other banks. Can you just go into that one a little bit? Because that's the one I really love,
Yeah, no, and I was absolutely surprised about this again. And some very notable banks and ATB started closing people's accounts as a result of Chrystia Freeland standing up at the podium saying, "Hey, we're shutting down the financing the trucker convoy." And I said, "Hey, wait a minute. This seems like a peaceful protest to me. Before we do anything like that, I want to see a court order." And of course, the court order never even came because in my mind, and it was proven correct, that the Emergencies Act was illegal. So at the end of the day, we ended up being on the right side of that because of it was a peaceful protest, and they went way over their skis with their sort of authoritarian tendencies. And so we took a stand, and although we do have to abide by what's called as FinTrack, which is anti-money laundering rules, we felt it didn't quite meet the hurdle rate of meeting that requirements to start freezing people's accounts and blocking people's accounts.
Mm.
Well, you also didn't force your staff to wear masks or take the jab or anything like that.
Correct. And again, I felt that was an infringement on people's rights. And frankly, health and well-being of people is none of my business. Our business is to help our membership with financial decisions and perhaps a little economic education. And that's about it. We're not there to give people a lecture on anything. And so anything that sort of wades into those waters that we've seen very much so in the last little while of like, you need to think this, otherwise we're not going to serve you. Well, that's ridiculous in our minds. We're here to provide a financial service and not that lecture.
And I think the thing that really got our attention that was probably a blessing, but also you got some pushback on the backed by gold. You guys had it was awesome. I don't know if it was a guy in a mascot outfit dressed like a gold bar with a sign, or you had signage or something like that. It was pretty wild. But it was the first time Al and I ever saw a bank saying, we're going to back it by gold. We're going to protect your money. It's not like if everything crashes, oh, sorry, you lost everything. It just automatically disappeared. Can you go into a little bit about that campaign for people that are new? I just thought it was brilliant. And I know you got trouble for a little bit of it, but I thought it was great.
Yeah, and just to be clear, our organization isn't 100% backed by gold, but the e-metals account that you can get through our organization is 100% backed by precious metals. But I think it's important to give a distinction between nominal value of money and real value of money. So the nominal value, like dollars in your bank account, will never change. It's insured 100%. Within our organization, at other organizations like the big Schedule I banks, you're guaranteed up to $100,000. And so if one of those financial institutions fails, you will get those digits on a screen. And say you had $100 in that account, that'll never change. You'll always get that $100. But people forget about the real value of money. So what does that actual $100 do for your purchasing power? So how many groceries can you get for that? How many days of electricity can you get from that? And I think we've found that especially over the past couple of years, inflation has just robbed people of that purchasing power. And so that's the real value of your money. And so the governments and financial institutions are always focused on that, keeping that nominal value, but never focused on the actual real value of that purchasing power of your money. And so hence, enter something like gold and Bitcoin, and it really attempts to do the job of protecting people's purchasing power because, people in some cases work 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And if their savings are wiped out within a few years just because somebody's in the background printing money and spending on silly things, we don't think that's right. And frankly, we want to help people protect their money a little bit better than any other financial institution is willing to.
Yeah. Well, I think that goes back to, our beginning conversation. You guys now have an e-metals account. You can buy gold and silver in exchange, with your personal account there. You've got, now you're doing crypto. I think when we first found you, I think you had one branch, maybe two. And now how many do you have? And you're just launching a new one. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that too?
Right. So yeah, we have 8 branches now. Our most recent one is at Lake Bonavista in south part of Calgary, which we're extremely excited. That just launched about a month ago. And then coming this fall, we're hoping to open up Red Deer as an agency branch. It's going to start out small, but we hope to grow it to a full service branch. And so we'll have 9 locations across Alberta to help serve Albertans and really give good financial advice and assuring people that we're looking out for them versus shareholders or foreign corporations or something like that, like most of the other big banks.
And how many did you have like a couple of years ago when we first started talking?
Oh yeah, we might have had 5 or 6, I think. So yeah, we've expanded quite a bit since then, and just really, it's a method of us being able to keep up, and so we have to run day-to-day operations properly, but we definitely want to be able to serve people as well to the best of our ability and not sort of just give them a McDonald's service. We want sort of more of a white glove service, if you will. So
yeah.
Now this probably won't affect you as it might affect other banks, but when, and I say when versus if, Alberta does the sovereignty vote and decides to, become a sovereign nation, does that affect you or banking with people with money in different banks and that kind of thing?
yeah, I think it would affect us much less than it would with some of the bigger Schedule One banks like the RBCs, TDs, Scotiabank, CIBCs, that type of thing, because they are nationwide, whereas we're just exclusively to Alberta. The impacts would be quite minimal because we already have provincial regulations in place and provincial regulators in place. I wouldn't say there'd be no impact because I think it would impact every Canadian and every Albertan, but we would definitely see some minimal impact as a result of that. Interesting times, I would say the least, with Pierre Poilievre getting it. We'll see if this reignites the fire under Alberta sovereignty or whether it'll get scaled back to some degree. So,
Yeah, I got one last question. I'm hearing from Ontario, British Columbia, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. I mean, the list goes on. It's probably the one negative. Everyone keeps complaining that it's Alberta only. When, I'm not going to say if, or I'm going to say when will you guys be expanding in the other? And I know you're white glove and I know we're asking a lot, but people are eager to finally put their money in a place that's for them, Brett. Like, how crazy is that? Like, I don't think that's a huge ask. You know what I mean? Banks shouldn't even really have that kind of decision power, what you do with your money or you don't, but they love what you guys are doing. When will you expand to other provinces? What's that looking like?
Yeah, we're doing our best to work in the background, and believe it or not, all it is really regulatory and legal paperwork that we need to do that takes a bit of time to be able to do that. Will we ever have branches in other provinces? It might be tough to see that far into the future right now. People can still do their banking online or on the phone or through email and that type of thing. But yeah, we are working on it in the background, and I don't have a timeline on that, and I wish I had a better answer for you there, Corey. But yeah, we are working on it because we know that there's a huge demand for it, and if you have a local credit union, happy to talk to any credit union across the country to tell them about the ideas that we're working towards, and hopefully they can help you come up with a homegrown solution in Ontario or BC or Saskatchewan to mimic what we're doing as a credit union, because we've seen some fantastic results and really a ton of benefits. So
I'm just trying to minimize the emails we're going to get, because every time we have you on, everyone's like, how come he's not in Ontario? All right. Well, we really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your new branch that you're opening up here. And congratulations on bringing Bitcoin into the family of banking that you guys do. We're real excited about it, and we'll definitely have you back.
Great. Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it every time.
Well, thanks for Brett coming on and giving a little bit of that history. Alan, we got new people coming on all the time. You get the letters, I get the letters. Hey, I just found you. I just found you. We've been on the air for like 4 years now, doing what we're doing every day, morning, noon, and night. And it's exciting that people are finding Talk Truth. It's also exciting that we can continue to share the good news of incredible people like Brett and his bank, their Bow Valley, and what they're doing. God is working. Things are happening, right?
Yeah. For the good and for the better. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. God's never early, but he's never late, right, Dad?
Right. That's right.
Yeah. Let's do this. If you'd like to help support our mission, keep this conversation and truth on the air, we are viewer supported. We can't do it without you. We don't take government funds. We don't take special interest groups or lobbyists. It's only because of the generosity and of the viewers that watch this show. Without you guys, we couldn't do what we're doing. You can go to our website, gotalktruth.com, click on donate. Many different ways to give digitally that way. If you'd like to do it through the mail, you can. You can make your gift payable to Heritage Christian Ministries Association and send it to 246 Stewart Green Southwest, Suite 3260, Calgary, Alberta, T3H 3C8. And if you like prayer, you can get prayer 24/7 and our toll-free line 1-800-915-0056 in Canada. And Dad, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone that supports this program. Mm-hmm. I know that we have new people coming on board all the time. We have people that have been with us since day one. And I just don't know, I hope is probably the best way to say, people feel the appreciation you and I have for them and the sacrifices they're making to be able to keep this truth across the nation. Right, Dad?
Amen. And they do. We call them up on the phone.
It's always a surprise when your phone rings and it's Alan on the other line. All right, everybody, we're out of time. We'll see you later.
Love you.